Good evening, everybody. It's 7 o'clock. We'll go ahead and get started. We have with us tonight Reverend Tony Phillips from Bethany United Methodist Church at 760 Hurt Road. I'd like to invite you up now and lead us in the invocation and pledge. Everybody, please rise.
Thank you. Our prayer this evening will be from Proverbs 18, verse 15. It says, "The heart of the discerning acquires knowledge, for the ears of the wise seek it out." Lord, we ask that you would give us a heart that discerns godly wisdom and knowledge, ears to listen to one another and to the fine people in the city of Smyrna, and the passion, the compassion to hear them, to hurt for them, and to advocate for them. Lord, I pray that you'll bless everyone who is in this room this evening and all the fine people in the city of Smyrna. In your name we pray. Amen. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Pastor, for being with us tonight. Appreciate it. Item 2 is agenda changes. We don't have any. Item 3 is the mayoral report. I want to start my report tonight saying how sad I was to hear about the passing of our friend Joe Bland last week. He was a longtime chair of the Smyrna Housing Authority, and just a great guy and great ambassador for this city with a servant's heart. So we're going to miss him greatly, and Janet and family will be in our prayers. Item A, 2022-343, authorization to record the Cobb County Elections official city election results for the runoff municipal election for the city of Smyrna for Ward 2 Council held June 21st, 2022, with Ms. Latonia P. Hines earning 51.9% of the vote to be elected Ward 2 council member. Joe, any background?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, thank you. Following the conclusion of the May 24th, 2022 general election, no candidate earned the required 50% plus one of the votes. The percentage breakdown of the votes were as follows. Ms. Latonia P. Hines, 31.39%. Natalie King, 28.17%. Mr. Michael Starks, 16.40%. Cynthia Wagner, 13.88%. And Natalie E. Jones, 10.16%. This resulted in a runoff and special election between the top two highest earning candidates, Ms. Hines and Ms. King. The runoff election was held June 21st, 2022, and 391 total votes were cast. After all in-person, absentee, advanced, and provisional votes were calculated, it was determined that Ms. Hines earned 51.9% of the votes and was elected as the Ward 2 City Council member. The office of mayor and city council are elected and serve 4-year terms. Each elected seat runs every 4 years. The current term of office began in 2020, and the next term will begin January 2024.
Thank you, Mr. Bennett. I'll just say how glad we are to have Ms. Latonia P. Hines on this council. The first time we've had 7 council members in quite some time, and she worked very hard on her campaign, and as was evidenced on Thursday night when she was sworn in, she knows probably 90% of the county because they were all here. I've never seen anybody have more people for their swearing in than you did. So anything you'd like to say?
I just want to say thank you so very much to the city staff and to my fellow council. You've been wonderful in welcoming me, and I just hope to do a great job for my citizens in my ward and for the city. Thank you.
Thank you. This is an item I guess we're going to need a vote on, Scott, right? Okay, so I'll take a motion. So moved by Mr. Lindley, and second? Second by Mr. Pickens. All those in favor, please vote. And that's approved 7-0. Welcome. Next, this isn't on my mayoral report, but I want to invite Eric Randall up on our staff who had a couple of comments. and maybe a joke or two, but maybe save those, Eric.
I'll save those for later. Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Council. Thank you for the opportunity to acknowledge our sanitation department this evening. You've probably heard me say that Public Works does all those things you don't really appreciate until they don't work, and sanitation ranks up high on that list. Today, especially, our sanitation department went above and beyond. We found out that one of our team members, Samuel Jones, goes by Andy and goes by Possum, passed away last evening. He'd been out for several months with some health issues that just seem to be getting worse. And to put in perspective, Andy, I think he's been with the city for 22 years. I know it's over 20 years. I think it's 22. It might be as much as 27. But that was weighing on everybody. And then with the heat we had today, we had several staff members who physically could not complete their routes. And normally when that happens, we get others that will come in and work for an extra hour to make sure routes were done. After we had a meeting this afternoon at 4, I went back, and at 5:30, our sanitation trucks were just coming back in. We'd had some equipment failures as well, so everybody pulled together as a team. There's a general acknowledgement of, hey, sorry, I'm done, I don't have to go. Not on sanitation and not today. Everybody stuck around to make it work, and I appreciate the opportunity for me to pass on the commitment, the dedication that our staff has to make sure the citizens of Smyrna get served. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you for recognizing them. Great job. Next, item B, proclamation and recognition of Dr. Gene Walker. This is a little bit bittersweet. We're happy for Dr. Walker, but sad for us. She's been the principal at Campbell for several years, and I've had the pleasure of working with you on many different topics over the years, and always been great public servant and great to work with and great for our city. So we're going to miss you a lot, but we wish you the best in the future. And to read that proclamation is our Education Chair and Mayor Pro Tem, Tim Gould.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It's a pleasure to be able to read this proclamation for Dr. Walker, who's just done a fantastic job leading I think the largest high school in the county for about 7 years. So with that, a proclamation by the Mayor of the City of Smyrna in recognition of Dr. Gene Walker. Whereas Dr. Gene Walker has been a compassionate and dedicated educator in the Cobb County School District for 26 years, serving 7 of those as principal of Campbell High School. And whereas Dr. Gene Walker has held a variety of roles, including Spanish teacher at Oakwood High School, assistant principal at Sprayberry High School, principal of Tapp Middle School, and a member of the Cobb County School District's Guiding Coalition. And whereas in her 7 years as Campbell High School's principal, Dr. Gene Walker is responsible for a graduation rate increase over 20%, an athletic program with multiple regional titles and state titles, and countless state playoff appearances, an outstanding ROTC program with a state championship, an expanded fine arts program, inhibiting a new performing arts center, a school-wide renovation through SPLOST that included a new gym, academic building, media center, parking lot, and a host of internal and external campus improvements, and a significant increase in enrollment as CHS and Smyrna have become a desired destination for students and families. And whereas Dr. Gene Walker has for over a decade served as a vocal and visible supporter of Campbell's International Baccalaureate Diploma Program, as she has witnessed hundreds of Cobb County students, including her own 2 children, achieve at the highest level in CCDS' first academic magnet program. With her unwavering enthusiasm, Campbell IB has expanded program opportunities and increased student enrollment while sustaining a legacy of outstanding international performance. And and whereas most recently named Distinguished Administrator of the Year by Georgia Library Media Association, a testament to the respect she has earned among her staff and whom she guides daily to impact, quote, every student every day. And whereas Dr. Gene Walker has been a resident of Smyrna for over 3 decades, her servant leadership will continue to inspire her colleagues, teachers, students, and community members for years to come. Now, therefore, I, Derek Norton, Mayor of the City of Smyrna, Georgia, do hereby recognize Dr. Gene Walker for her outstanding service and many contributions to Campbell High School and the city of Smyrna.
Dr. Walker, I'd like to invite you and your family up. You'd like to say a few words?
I'm going to kind of stand to the side and just say I'm proud to be here with my family, my husband Doug, my daughter Jean, my mom Jane. I'm not going to get, I do this. This has been some of the most challenging but also happiest years in school administration. You guys have been a true blessing to work with. I always tell people that the best part of being the principal at Campbell is working with the city and having such great support. So for that, I'm very thankful. And I'm always here in Smyrna. We'll always be cheering for the Spartans. So, sorry. Thank you. Oh. I tried to keep a dry eye. All right, thank you. Okay, sure.
All right, next on our agenda is land issue zonings, annexations. Item A, 2022-145, zoning request Z22-005, allow rezoning from GC and O&I to TS conditional for the development of a 107-room hotel and rebranding of a 135-room hotel, 3.115 acres, land lots 846, 880, and 881, Moger Farms Funding LLC at 2855 Spring Hill Parkway and 2685 Spring Road. I know they're still working out the details with Glenn and others on some entry and exit there, and they're going to ask that this item be tabled to the August 15th, 2022 meeting at the request of the applicants. So I'll need a motion to table, please. Motion by Mr. Pickens, second by Mr. Lindley. All those in favor of tabling to August 15th, please vote. And that's approved 7-0. Item B, ordinance 2022-12. This is a public hearing. Approval of ordinance 2022-12, annexation request with 60% of owners requesting annexation. All tracts or parcels as attached and defined in the issue and background section of land lying and being in land lot 191, 242, and 243 of the 17th District, 2nd Section, Cobb County, Georgia, a subdivision known as Heritage Mill Subdivision to be effective August 1st, 2022 and part of Ward 4, and authorizes the mayor to sign and execute all related documents. Mr. Bennett, any background, please?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Heritage Mill subdivision, formerly known as Norton Place subdivision, has the required contiguity with the existing Smyrna boundary for annexation. No unincorporated islands will be created or extended with the proposed annexation. 60% of the resident electors and the owners of 60% of the total acreage of land to be annexed have signed written applications. There are no county buildings or facilities on these properties. The property is an existing single-family subdivision. Cobb County issued a letter of non-objection on June 23, 2022. The addresses for annexation are all of the addresses on Norton Place, beginning with 4049 and ending with 4341.
Thank you, Mr. Bennett. Any discussion amongst council before we open up the public hearing? Nope. All right, this is a public hearing. I'd invite anybody who wishes to speak for or against this item to come forward and be sworn in by our city attorney. All right, seeing none, we'll close the public hearing, and I'll take a motion to approve item B.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to approve item 4B, ordinance 2022-12, for the approval of ordinance for the annexation of Heritage Mill subdivision.
All right, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Lindley. All those in favor, please vote. It's approved 7-0. Welcome officially to the city. Awesome. I don't know if y'all heard, but Dr. Walker got a nice welcome out by the staff at Campbell. That was great. Next item is another annexation, item C, 2020, ordinance 2022-15. This is a public hearing. Approval of ordinance 2022-15, annexation request with 60% of owners requesting annexation. All tracts or parcels as attached and defined in the issue and background of the land lying and being in land lot 466 and 471 of the 17th District, 2nd Section, Cobb County, Georgia, subdivision known as Vinings Brook subdivision, to be effective August 1st, 2022, and part of Ward 7, and authorizes the mayor to sign and execute all related documents. Mr. Bennett, any background, please?
Yes, sir. Vining Brook has the required contiguity with the existing Smyrna boundary for annexation. No unincorporated islands will be created or extended with the proposed annexation. 60% of the resident electors and the owners of 60% of the total acreage of land to be annexed have signed written applications. There are no county buildings or facilities on these properties. The property is an existing single-family subdivision. Cobb County issued a letter of non-objection on June 23rd, 2022. The annexed properties are all on Bluestone Circle, beginning with the numbers 5265 and ending with the numbers 5401, and 2 parcel IDs for Vining Brook Homeowners Association.
Thank you, Mr. Bennett. This is a public hearing. I'd invite anybody who'd like to speak for or against this item to come up and be sworn in by our city attorney. Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing, and I'll entertain a motion.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to make a motion to approve item 4C, ORD 2022-15, approval of the annexation of Vining Brook subdivision as read previously.
Motion by Mr. Wheaton. Do we have a second?
Second by
Second by Mr. Gould. All those in favor, please vote. That's approved 7-0. Smyrna's getting bigger by the minute. All right, item 5, privilege licenses. Item A, license 2022-09. Privilege license request 2022-09, beer, wine, and liquor, retail pouring at 300 Village Green Circle Southeast, Suite 110. GKM Smyrna LLC, doing business as Good Kitchen, with Peter Tompkins as the agent. Mr. Bennett, background, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Peter Tompkins, as registered agent for GKM Smyrna LLC, doing business as Good Kitchen, requests privilege license for the sale of beer, wine, and liquor, retail pouring, at 300 Village Green Circle, Southeast, Suite 110. Peter Tompkins will be the registered agent responsible for the sale of alcohol at the referenced location. Mr. Tompkins has been given a copy of the alcohol beverage ordinance and has attended the mandatory alcohol awareness workshop. The Smyrna Police Department approved the issuance of this license. Peter Tompkins has agreed to abide by the guidelines set forth by the City of Smyrna ordinance governing the sale of alcohol.
Thank you, Mr. Bennett. This is in Ward 3, going in the old porch light location, and I'll turn it over to Mr. Lindley.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Is the applicant or agent here? If you care to tell us anything about your restaurant.
Thank you, guys. My wife and Veronica and I have a restaurant right now in Marietta. I don't know if anyone's been there yet, but we're right by Kennestone Hospital. We've been open for about 3.5 years. We're mainly a restaurant, not a bar. We sell natural wines, maybe 5 local drafts, and we're going to do the same here in the former Porch Light. We do breakfast, lunch, and dinner Monday through Saturday. We open up at 8 a.m., do breakfast all day. So if you want eggs at 8 o'clock at night, you can come to our restaurant and we'll serve that. Our product mix is about 80% food, 20% alcohol. And before this, ironically, I used to work for Buffalo Wild Wings. Actually, internationally, I had all the restaurants in Southeast, which is a very unhealthy restaurant. Our restaurant is very healthy. We're doing quite well. We kind of proved ourselves during COVID in Marietta, learned how to expand our seating, updated our service style. Both my wife and I are cancer survivors, so part of our healing process was to start eating better and cleaner food. So many of the recipes we have in our restaurant, we actually came up with. So we do a lot of things with kids with cancer. We have a Courageous Kids with Cancer program where we actually, the kids eat for free with their families. We just had our friend Ozzy Albies, who's a regular guest in Marietta, send a video to one of our Courageous Kids last night, which really encouraged them. So we're really looking forward to getting into the former Porch Light and reopening that space and being part of the community here. We have a lot of friends in Smyrna. We actually helped develop the River City Church, which is right above, ironically, the place we're going to go into. So we know a lot of folks here. I think we're doing an event with United Methodist pretty soon where we can showcase some of our food and perhaps Taste of Smyrna as well. Our plans are currently being re-reviewed by the city. We had to make a few changes to them. And they accepted our plans on Friday, so hopefully we'll get a quick turnaround and get in there and reopen, hopefully early September. Our target is probably Labor Day week. So we look forward to it. We love the city. We come here a lot. Our kids used to live right down here on Stevens Street, so we got to see a lot of the concerts here and just love the Village Green area and particularly love what you guys are going to do here in the next few years too. So we look forward to being part of the community.
Great. Well, we appreciate you coming to Smyrna with business.
Thanks.
With that, Mr. Mayor, motion to pass is presented.
Have a motion to pass,
Second.
seconded by Mr. Welch. All those in favor, please vote. And that's approved 7-0. We look forward to you opening and coming on over there. Welcome to Smyrna. Item 6 is formal business, 6A 2022-348, public hearing for the 2022 millage rate. There's no vote on this date. Mr. Bennett, any background, please?
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. The fiscal year 23 budget approved by council included revenue projections for property taxes based on 8.99 mills. This is the first of 3 required public hearings before the formal adoption of the 8.99 millage rate. Tax information was received from Cobb County on June 23, 2022. Per the information provided, the city would need to roll back the millage rate to 8.048 to not advertise a tax increase. In comparison, last year's millage rollback was calculated at 8.468. The official notice and all required information was posted in the Marietta Daily Journal on July 8th. It will be posted again on July 17th. A press release was sent to the Marietta Daily Journal on July 7th. It has also been posted on our city website. This is the first required public hearing. Additional hearings will be held at 10 a.m. and 6:45 p.m. on August 1st. The adoption of the millage rate will be an agenda item on the 6:45 meeting on August 1st.
Thank you, Mr. Bennett. And I've got something in front of me that I asked for this evening. I was curious, how long has it been since we raised the millage rate? And the answer is we haven't raised the millage rate in 29 years, the last time being 1993. So with that, I'll entertain any discussion by council, and then I'll open it up for a public hearing. Any council discussion? Okay, this is a public hearing. Anybody who wishes to speak on this item, please be sworn in. Come up and be sworn in by our city attorney. You'll state your name and address for the record, please.
Hi, my name is Ken Siegel. I live at 4245 Parkside Drive Southeast, and I also have a condo at 207 Cummerah, and I appreciate the opportunity to be here. While you're considering the millage rate, I'm not sure how the taxes work, but we've got, I'm sure, a tremendous amount of additional revenue from Truist Park coming into the city. And if there is a possibility, in addition to rolling the millage rate back, reducing it further, but any possible funding, I think there are 4 key priorities. One is reducing property tax rate for people. Number 2 is hiring some additional police officers. Number 3 is pay raises for our first responders. And number 4 is some type of assistance for those families that are truly struggling and having difficulty surviving. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your comments. With that, we'll close the public hearing, and there's no vote, so we will move on to the next agenda item, correct? All right. Item B, 2022-352, authorization for the approval for a feasibility study for 14.02 undeveloped acres, parcel 1706-1300020 by Foley Design, 21 Puritan Mill, 950 Lowry Boulevard, Northwest, Atlanta, Georgia, 30318, in the amount of $14,000 to be paid from Parks and Recreation budgeted funds for the development of a nature center and potential other uses at the site located on Oakdale Road, and authorize the mayor to sign and execute all related documents. Mr. Bennett, the background, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Foley Design proposes to provide conceptual designs for a 14.02 acre site located at parcel number 1706-1300020 on Oakdale Road, Smyrna, Georgia. The development will consist of a nature center and potential other uses. The scope of the work is limited to basic conceptual site planning to assess the feasibility of the undeveloped property in terms of program, element location, and grading evaluation. Building information shown on the site will be limited to footprint locations. Site improvements indicated will consist of roads, sidewalks, paths, terraces, and patio areas associated with the building.
Thank you, Mr. Bennett. This is in Ward 7. Turn it over to Councilmember Wheaton.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. You know, one of the things that is really important to our residents in Ward 7 is having some good facilities for, you know, community gathering, for coming together, and this is something I've always been passionate about. And, you know, I think this is an opportunity on this space to really consider some of that's really responsive to the needs of the residents that are, you know, residents of this community. They pay taxes in the community, to bring in a really good resource that could be very outward-facing, community-centered on this piece of property. So, you know, I'm personally excited about the opportunity to really, you know, take time, get feedback, get community feedback, and kind of lay out a plan of what this site design could look like and what the future of this area could be. So, you know, at the appropriate time, certainly more than happy to make a motion to approve item 6B as read on the record.
It's the appropriate time.
All right. Well, motion submitted, item 6B. Motion to approve item 6B 2022-352 as read on the record.
Have a motion. Do I have a second? Second by Mr. Pickens. All those in favor, please vote. That's approved 7-0. I'm excited about what that study will lead us to, and this just follows through on our promises with having Ward 7 annexed like it was and no city facilities really to speak of being put there. We got the splash pad coming in. We've got all of the new things at Riverline Park, and now this area and more to come. So excited about growth in that part of the city. Item C, 2022-367, approval of pay and pay band adjustments to the UGA classification and compensation study and pay band adjustments related to the fiscal year 23 budget, and authorization to amend the fiscal year 2023 budget by increasing the departmental salary and FICA line item budgets in the amount of $43,785 and reducing the budgeted contingency, and authorize the mayor to sign and execute all related documents. Mr. Bennett, the background, please.
Yes, sir. As we work with the University of Georgia to finalize the pay study, staff have identified some corrections or needed adjustments based upon feedback submitted by the departments. Additionally, we are including additions and changes to the pay plan that were adopted in the fiscal year 23 budget, as well as a new reclassification request from administration in the police department.
Any discussion? Not, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
So moved by Mr. Lindley, seconded by Mr. Pickens. All those in favor, please vote. And that's approved 7-0. It's my understanding that's kind of the last tweak or most recent tweak to a overhaul of our compensation for our employees to make sure we're competitive and
That's correct.
Okay.
And yes, we're hoping on the final tweak.
great. Thank you. Item D, approval to purchase Pierce Velocity Fire Engine in the amount of $718,243 from 10-8 Fire and Safety at 1591 Collier Road, Forsyth, Georgia, using the NPP Gov cooperative contract funded from the Vehicle Replacement Fund, and authorize the mayor to sign and execute all related documents. Mr. Bennett, the background, please.
Yes, sir. The 1999 American LaFrance fire engine has exceeded the 10-year age and mileage criteria and is scheduled to be replaced in fiscal year 2024. Pierce Manufacturing has increased their cost by 3% annually and has now increased their cost to 6% due to steel and aluminum tariffs. The anticipated spec build and delivery is exceeding the traditional 8 to 12 months and is now 25 to 26 months. And by entering into this agreement now, we will save any further tariffs and we'll hopefully get the fire truck within the 26-month time frame.
Great, thank you. Any discussion? All right, if not, I'll take a motion. Councilwoman Hines has made the motion, seconded by Dr. Wheaton. All those in favor, please vote. It's approved 7-0. Thank you. Well, that's your first motion. Congratulations. Item E, RFQ 22-033, approval to award RFQ 2022-033 Creekwood Trail Area Water Line Replacement Project to the lowest bidder, Ardito Construction Company, Incorporated, 1290 Austell Road Southeast, Marietta, Georgia 30008, in the amount of $742,200 to be funded out of the Water Sewer CIP Fund, and authorize the mayor to sign and execute all related documents. Mr. Bennett, background, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The City of Smyrna requested bids for a unit price contract for the installation of approximately 6,500 linear feet of new 6-inch PVC, 4,800 linear feet of new 8-inch PVC, and reconnections of existing water mains, service laterals, and fire hydrants. 6 contractors submitted, and the low bidder is Ardito Construction Company, Incorporated, in the amount of $742,200. This project is managed by Croy Engineering.
Thank you, Mr. Bennett. This is Ward 6. We'll turn it over to Mayor Pro Tem Tim Gould.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just want to thank our Public Works group for continue pushing forward and doing some challenging jobs to update our infrastructure. It's needed and can cause a little bit of a disruption, but in long haul, it's the right thing to do. So we appreciate that. So that, Mr. Mayor, I move to approve item 6E as previously read.
Have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Welch. All those in favor, please vote. It's approved 7-0. Item F, approval to award RFQ 22-034 Highlands Drive Water Line Replacement Project to the lowest bidder, Ardito Construction Company, Incorporated, 1290 Austell Road Southeast, Marietta, Georgia 30008, in the amount of $677,525 to be funded out of the Water Sewer CIP Fund, and authorize the mayor to sign and execute all related documents. Mr. Bennett, the background, please.
Yes, so the City of Smyrna requested bids for a unit price contract for the water line replacement of approximately 9,800 linear feet of new 6-inch PVC and reconnections of existing water mains, service laterals, and fire hydrants. 6 contractors submitted, and the low bidder is Ardito Construction Company, Incorporated, in the amount of $677,525. Again, this project is managed by Croy Engineering.
Thank you, Mr. Bennett. This is in Ward 2. Turn it over to Councilmember Hines for a motion.
I make the motion to approve, and much like Councilmember Gould, I thank Public Works.
I have a motion to approve. Do I have a second? Second by Mr. Pickens. All those in favor, please vote. And that's approved 7-0. Item G, approval to award RFP 22-036 for the residential municipal solid waste disposal contract to Smyrna Transfer Station LLC, 4696 South Cobb Drive, Southeast Smyrna, Georgia 30080, and authorize the mayor to sign and execute all related documents. Mr. Bennett, the background, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We received 3 proposals on Wednesday, June 15th, 2022 for RFP 22-036. It's a residential municipal solid waste disposal. And through this process, Transfer Station LLC in Smyrna, Georgia was the lowest responsive bidder.
Thank you, Mr. Bennett. Any discussion? If not, I'll entertain a motion. So moved by Mr. Lindley, second by Mr. Pickens. All those in favor, please vote. That's approved 7-0. Item H, 2022-372, approval of an amendment to the 2022 SPLOST project length budgets to increase the project length budget for the downtown and South Cobb improvement projects by $3.4 million, with $1.7 million coming up for the downtown and $1.7 million for the South Cobb improvements, and decrease the project length budget for the Cobb Parkway pedestrian bridge to the Battery by $3.4 million. Mr. Bennett, the background, please.
Thank you, sir. During the fiscal year 2022, a budget amendment was approved to establish project length budgets for the 2022 SPLOST for amounts that were advertised and approved by the voters. Downtown and South Cobb were combined into one line item with a total budget of $12.27 million. It was the intent of council for that amount to split equally among the 2 projects, so each one had a budget of $6,135,000. The downtown broad project was split into 2 projects that were to be bid out and contracted separately. The site and roadway improvements contract was awarded previously and work is in process. Staff has been working on the green space contractor to bring forward a guaranteed not-to-exceed contract. During these contract discussions and recognizing the economic circumstances and their impact on prices, it has come to staff's attention that to fulfill this vision of the citizens in the downtown task force, additional funding is needed. The initial amount budgeted for the green space contract was approximately $2.25 million. The current estimate is approximately $3.79 million. We also are considering some minor change orders on the site and roadway contract that need to be considered. Staff is recommending an additional $1.7 million of funding will be needed to complete this project. As mentioned above, the intent of council was to keep downtown and South Cobb improvements budgets equal, as we also need to add $1.7 million to the South Cobb improvement budget. The anticipated date for construction on the pedestrian bridge is several years out, and we're optimistic that some matching grant funding will come through to assist with that project. Based upon this, we are recommending moving budgeted funds of $3.4 million from the pedestrian bridge project into the downtown and South Cobb projects.
Thank you, Mr. Bennett. This is in Ward 3, and also Mr. Lindley is chair of the Downtown Details Task Force, so I will turn it over to Mr. Lindley.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you, Mr. Bennett. The Downtown Redesign Task Force is watching expenses very closely, but also keenly aware we are in unprecedented inflation times, so we are where we are. But motion do pass as presented.
Any discussion? We have a motion to pass. Do we have a second? Second by Mr. Pickens. All those in favor, please vote. And that's approved 6-1 with Ms. Wilkinson voting in the negative. Item 7 is commercial building permits. We have none. Item 8 is the consent agenda. Mr. Bennett, can you please read the consent agenda for council approval?
Yes, sir. Item A, MIN 2022-47, approval of the June 16th, 2022 Committee of the Whole meeting minutes. Item B, MIN 2022-48, approval of the June 20th, 2022 pre-council meeting minutes. Item C, MIN 2022-49, approval of the June 20th, 2022 mayor and council meeting minutes. Item D, CON 2022-08, approval for the contract with Fox Environmental, 262 Fortner Drive, Decatur, Georgia 30030, to continue providing technical services for MS4 Phase 1 permitted compliance for the period of July 1st, 2022 through June 30th, 2023, for an amount not to exceed $64,000, with annual renewals for the same amount up to a period of 5 years as detailed in the agreement, and authorize the mayor to sign and execute all related documents. Item E, POL 2022-05, approval to reinstate personnel policies and procedures, LVE 1.04, annual leave sellback policy. Item F, AGR 2022-23, authorization for retroactive emergency approval to enter into an agreement with Ring Central, located at 20 Davis Drive, Belmont, California, 94002, to provide phone service for the city of Smyrna in the amount of $47,142 to be covered by the IT expense budget, and $42,370 to be funded from CIP budgeted phone replacement funds, for an initial term of 60 months with 12-month annual renewals, and authorize the mayor to sign and execute all related documents. Item G, AGR 2022-25, authorization to approve the quote Q00000010787, an agreement with Advantage Sport and Fitness, 2255 North Triffhammer Road, Ithaca, New York, 14850, for the 5-year lease with Macro Lease, 185 Express Street, Suite 100, Plainview, New York, 11803, for replacement of fitness equipment at the community center for a total of $52,244.50 to include a 5-year parts and labor warranty, and authorize the mayor to sign and execute all related documents. Item H, AGR 2022-26, approval of the master services agreement with Munition LLC, 1225 Avenue, Ponce de Leon, PH 894, San Juan, Puerto Rico, 00907, for the renewal of the eGov Citizen Experience Management Platform in the amount of $4,861, and authorize the city administrator to sign and execute all related documents. Item I, AGR 2022-27, authorization to approve a parks maintenance lease with Jerry Pate Turf and Irrigation, 5350 Tulane Drive, Atlanta, Georgia 30336, for the Toro Reel Master 3100D Sidewinder, Multi-Pro 1750, and Groundmaster 3600D, using Georgia State Contract Number 99999-001-SPD 0000177-0014, in the amount of a monthly lease of $4,164.25 for 48 months, and authorize the mayor to sign and execute all related documents. Item J, AGR 2022-28, authorization to renew and extend the cell tower lease agreement between the City of Smyrna and American Tower, 10 Presidential Way, Woburn, Massachusetts 01801, for cell tower number 412399, located at Belmont Hills, Smyrna, in the amount of $38,000 annual rent, with a $50,000 signing bonus, 3% annual escalator, and 20-year term, and authorize the mayor to sign and execute all related documents.
Is that all you got?
Yes, sir.
Okay. May I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I so make that motion.
Motion by Ms. Hines. Do I have a second? Second by Mr. Pickens. All those in favor, please vote. It's approved 7-0. Item 9 is ward and committee reports. We'll start tonight with Dr. Lewis Wheaton.
No report this evening, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Gould.
Two quick things, Mr. Mayor. First, I want to thank city staff for putting on a fantastic concert this past Saturday night. It was just the second summer concert of the summer concert series, and just a really nice evening for everybody. And secondly, just folks on Ridge Road, we had a meeting, a traffic calming meeting today, chaired by my colleague Travis Lindley, and then our Susan Wilkinson's on the committee with us. And Ridge Road will have a online meeting here coming up to talk about some solutions to some traffic calming issues in that area. So stay tuned to a date. Thank you.
Ms. Wilkinson.
Thank you, Mayor. I would like to agree with my council member Tim Gould with the concert the other night. It was really nice. It was a wonderful evening and a wonderful band, and I hope the citizens really enjoyed it as much as I did. And I'd also like to welcome our newest council member, LaTanya P. Hines, and I'm looking forward to working with you in the next year and a half. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Mr. Lindley.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I was not able to be here for the swearing in. I hear it rivaled the Queen's birthday, so I hate I missed that. But sure look forward to working with Councilmember Hines. Glad she's here and look forward to great things. And echo the mayor's comments about the passing of a good friend, Joe Bland, keeping Janet, his wife, in thoughts and prayers. Longtime member at First Methodist, dedicated Kiwanis member. I think he routinely rotated between myself, the mayor, and Mr. Gould in speaking engagements. So I'm not sure what they'll do with programming now, but Smyrna lost a good warrior. Thank you.
Ms. Hines.
Once again, thank you for the warm welcome. And the one thing I say for our ward is that at the end of August, I plan on having a town hall, so I'll make sure that people are aware of it. And thank you for your consideration last Thursday for the swearing in. Thank you.
It's a great event. Mr. Pickens.
Thank you, Mayor. I would also like to welcome LaTonia to this council and just looking forward to serving with you.
Mr. Bennett.
No, sir.
Ms. Kristen. Scott. You got to read the consent agenda next time we meet. Ms. Heather. Ms. Jill. The only other thing I have, I just forgot to mention in my mayoral report, the State of the City is next week, Wednesday the 27th at 5:30 at the Community Center, and there's a link on our social media and website and all of that to sign up. So dinner will be served, and we'll give an update on all things City of Smyrna. Hope to see you there. Item 10 is show cause hearings. We have none. Item 11 is citizen input. We have one person signed up, Kathy Omates, 207 Countryside. You'd like to speak? You'll pass, okay. Nobody else has signed up. Anybody else in the audience want to speak? Come on up. State your name and address for the record.
Dina Levine, 232 Doeskin Lane, Smyrna, Georgia, 30082. And Mr. Welch is our, we're in Ward 4. And we have an issue, and we brought it here because I think we all love Smyrna, and we want everything to be safe for all ages. And in Deerwood, it's over, it's about 54 years old. So as it is, there's small areas. The streets are not real big. We have no sidewalks. And now it's turning over where young people are in, lots of young people, and the older people are kind of facing out. And there's no place for those children to ride a bike or anything. And we need speed bumps. And mainly this is looking on this street. This is a hill that you can't see if you're walking this way. And I always go against the traffic with my dogs. But I have to come up over here so that I can see somebody barreling down the road. And mainly as you come in the subdivision, they come in real fast. And right here, there's an old lady, 92 years old, and she is terrified of trying to get her mail out of the mailbox before somebody comes she's afraid she's going to get hit, which I completely sympathized with. Also, I know y'all can't see that far, but here it is a little bit different angle. But mainly, we need those speed bumps, especially coming in. And this is where I live. I live on a curve, and my mailbox is right there. They can't see me, and I hardly can see them. Now, the speeds are not people speeding. I hate to say, but it's our sanitation comes barreling down there. I don't know if they have an issue of having to do it all really fast, but they barrel down our roads on Thursday morning to pick up the garbage.
Eric, you hear that? Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. Okay. And I mean, they're just, I mean, you have to really watch it. And then also, I'm not going to say that the UPS truck. And then our regular cars. And I hate to say this, but it's also middle-aged people. You know, it's not just the young ones, it's the middle-aged people. And I had emailed Mr. Welch several months ago because I saw this in a parking lot that I had dinner at, and I thought, well, this makes it easy because it is a park. It's like you buy it, you get it, and it screws in. There's no of trying to make a hump with, you know, with extra, not cement, but what's the other that we have? Asphalt. So we don't have, I don't think that's a terrible expense. I personally, if you do not go, I'd like to know how much this would cost, because I definitely would like a few down my street. And then also down Deerwood Parkway, because I cherish it. And the kids, I mean, everybody talks about it, okay? They all want it. But to come and do anything about it, it's, you know, us. And I'm mainly concerned. I really am. And I have dogs, and they're my babies. So, I mean, when they come barreling down there, I have to yank them and get up on somebody's yard and wait till they come down. And I don't think that's right. Not in our neighborhood.
Thank you for coming and sharing your concerns. Councilman Welch
Yeah,
had to
you can
leave early, but
I know.
we'll make sure to get all of this to him. And I know those streets well. I live over near there, and when I run, hadn't been much lately, but I run back in there, and I know it can get a little dangerous. So we'll take a look, and Mr. Lindley is chair of the Traffic Calming Committee, and we'll bring it before them and be in touch with you on next steps. Our city engineer is here as well, and we'll take a look. And we really appreciate you sharing your concerns.
Penny,
That's what
I
this is
really
for.
appreciate it, very much so.
Mr.
because-
Rendell, can you connect
get back with
and exchange some phone numbers so we can follow up? Thank you so much.
Thank you. With that, if there's no other business to be brought before this body, we are adjourned at 7:53.